welcome to the Priggya Arora Show, where we discuss law and entrepreneurship with people who have been there and done that. My name is Priggya Arora, founder of PA Legal, an intellectual property law firm in India, and our guest for today is very inspiring Rohan Bilimoria. So let us directly dive into a conversation with him. Hi Rohan, how are you?
Hi, Priggya. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much, Rohan. So let us begin with your story and why did you choose law as a career?
So, yeah, my story, and apologies, I'm suffering from a cough at the moment. So if I cough, apologies in advance. Yeah, so I started my journey in India where I grew up in Delhi, and then when I was 14, my family and I moved to Sydney in Australia. So I did my law degree and my finance degree at a university in Sydney called the University of New South Wales. And both my parents were lawyers, actually. My mom, she was a lawyer. And then when I was born a long time ago, she decided to become a full-time mom and sort of, sacrifice her career. And my dad was an in-house lawyer for many, many years for companies like Nestle and Pepsi. So when I looked at what he did and what his friends and colleagues did, that really inspired me. And so that's something that kind of got me interested in law. And then, like a lot of other lawyers out there, I've read a lot of John Grisham thrillers. I watched a lot of legal thrillers on TV and movies, and that also got me into it. So that's kind of how the law even came about for me.
Wow, great, awesome. I love the way, these sitcoms and especially novels, they inspire us to become lawyers. And we think like legal profession is like this only, but when we get to know the reality is something different.
That's true. I think we should all get together, all of us lawyers who were inspired by these TV shows, should all get together, form a class action, and sue the people who made these shows and wrote these books. Slightly misleading and deceptive conduct, I would say. But no, I think, look, it's been an interesting journey. I've worked at law firms. I've worked in an in-house role. I'm continuing to be an in-house lawyer. And I've worked in a few places as well. So look, a legal career, a legal degree can take you to places you never thought you could go. So it's not all bad.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So, Rohan, you've worked in so many places, so many countries with so many different types of organization. What according to you, are most pivotal parts of your or some important aspects which changed you as a person or gave you a new perspective?
I don't know if there were any events that changed me as a person, but I can tell you the event that changed my career forever. So I was doing an internship with a law firm called Linklaters in their Singapore office. And it was a 1 month internship. It was, just doing kind of capital markets, a bit of corporate, a bit of project finance, pretty much everything that the office did. And there were about, I want to say 20, 30 lawyers in the office. So it wasn't a big office, but it wasn't a tiny one either. And so a lot of vacation scheme students or interns or whatever you want to call them, they go to these, 4-week, 8-week internships. And I think they go in for a little bit of fun, a little bit of experience, a little bit of, getting a taste of what it's like to be a lawyer. But for me, given that this was my first big internship and I was overseas because I had gone from Sydney to Singapore for this internship, I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to work hard. I wanted to hopefully get a job with them after university. And I was still in my 4th year of university then, which is my second last year. And so I went in with the mindset of I need to work and somehow prove myself. But unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, interns at law firms, sometimes they get given, just proofreading or very like small tasks where you can't really prove yourself. I mean, like everyone can read a document and pick out, full stops and commas that are missing. So the first week of my internship, I remember was quite, it was, I was getting work and everything, but I was also walking around and saying, hey, I have capacity or I have free, space in my schedule. Please give me work. And so there was one night, I want to say it was like, let's say a Thursday night, when I was still in the office about 7 p.m. and I was about to pack up my bags and, go back to where I was staying. And one of the senior lawyers, Nathan, who worked in the project finance team, he walked into my room and he said, "Rohan, are you busy?" And I said, "Oh, okay, cool. He's going to take me out for dinner. He's going to take me out for drinks. This is going to be great. First time somebody's taking me out." And I'd heard lots of good things about all the entertainment that interns and vacation scheme students get to see at these British firms. I said, yeah, I'm free. I'm totally available. And he's like, "Okay, come into my office." So I walked into his office. He's like, "All right, look, my trainee, my assistant, is away on holiday this week. So I need your help. We've got this, document that we need to turn around for a client, and it needs to be sent out basically ASAP. So I need your help." So I was like, "All right," I guess when you're faced with a situation like that, you can adopt one of two mindsets or one of two approaches. You can either have what they call a fixed mindset, where you kind of go, "Oh no, my life it sucks. Somebody's giving me work to do at 7 p.m. I want to go home. I want to sleep. I want to watch Netflix." There was no Netflix back then, but, TV. You kind of think of it in a sort of a negative or a fixed way. Or you could do what they call adopting a growth mindset, where essentially, you sort of say, "Okay, what am I going to get to learn from this new opportunity?" Or, "Wow, this is a great opportunity for me to prove myself," which is what I wanted to do. So thankfully, that night I adopted a growth mindset, and I kind of, in cricket, as they say, I try to play things on the front foot. And yeah, so I worked with Nathan. It was just me and him because everybody else had kind of gone back home. And we were sort of working on this document. And although I didn't know a lot of law at that time, at least project finance law, I was helping, proofreading and printing and editing and all that kind of stuff, which lawyers are meant to be good at. And we worked all night. We didn't sleep, didn't sort of take any breaks really. And about 5 a.m., he kind of said, "Okay, I'm going to send this document out. I'm going to make a few more changes and I'll send it out. You go home. It's 5 a.m. You should go home and sleep." I was like, no, I want to stay until you send this email out and we can both, leave at the same time. And so that night, that, one little document that we worked on changed my career and my life forever. Because from that moment, everyone in the office heard the story, and everyone in the office knew, what I had done, or, that the fact that we had stayed overnight and all of that. And for an intern or a vac scheme student to do that was quite unusual. And so then from that moment, for the next 2 or 3 weeks of that internship, a lot of people would come to me, give me work, or, try and, take me out for lunch. And, I was then a part of the team. And Nathan then, what has it been now? It's been 14 years. So yeah, 14 years. He's been my mentor for 14 years now. And he helped me get my graduate job at Linklaters. After that, he helped me get an internship in Tokyo after the Singapore one. He's helped me, and he's still my referee on my CV whenever I apply for jobs now. So yeah, I think, that's something that really changed everything. If he hadn't walked into my room that day, I might have had a very average internship. I might not have got the opportunity with Linklaters after that. And so, yeah, sometimes these things happen. Sometimes you just gotta do it to the best of your ability. And you may not be the best lawyer, you may not be the best law student, but as long as you can show enthusiasm and determination and hard work, things can happen for you.
Awesome, Rohan. I love the story and the way you depicted it. And it's always like we can connect the dots backward. At that point, we might like you might not know that where this could lead to, but now you know that how he has helped you throughout your career. And I think it's a key takeaway for every person who's listening to this, that uh, like we say in Hindi कि हमारे कर्म काम आते हैं. So it's like whenever you put some efforts, you will get the result. Maybe the result is not instantaneous, but after a few years you might get it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it won't happen instantly. And unfortunately, I mean, I'm 36 years old, so I'm quite old now, but maybe my generation, but definitely the younger generations, unfortunately, with social media and Instagram and with Amazon being able to deliver anything to your house, with Uber Eats being able to deliver everything within 30 minutes, we're used to things happening just straight away. We're not patient anymore. And you're right. I think, we need to be more patient. We need to be able to wait for things. So things are not instantaneous. You have to work hard and things will happen for you. And also, I think uh, things may not happen for you in the way you thought they would. You may think that, oh, I want to work in London at this firm and I want to have this kind of career and I want to make this kind of money and live in this kind of house and marry this kind of person. But actually, yes, you may go to London and you may work at a firm, but life happens, COVID happens, all these things that some things are within your control, a lot of things are not within your control, and they change your trajectory from what you thought you would want to do. I mean, a lot of law students, they think, and even I used to think when I was at law school, that being a lawyer is kind of my main option here. That's pretty much what I'm going to end up doing for the rest of my life. And I mean, I don't know the actual number, but I'm pretty sure 50% or at least, around that of my batch at law school are not lawyers anymore. And a lot of them actually never became lawyers. They, went straight into banking or they went straight into something else. I have a few law friends who are yoga instructors and are very happy. So you just don't know. And so, yeah, you might get what you want, but just not in the way you thought you would.
Awesome, Rohan. And I want to give make a one more point over here. Sometimes we think that our studies or our educational background has restricted us to do something. For example, if I have done engineering and I have done law, I have to be an intellectual property lawyer. It's nothing like that. In this fast-paced world, like we call it, I can learn any skill in probably 6 months and start a new career from that point of time. So I think we should not be too restrictive in terms of what we have studied up till now. And we have to stick with it. It's not we have to, we can choose whatever we want to do in life.
Yeah, I think that's right. I was gonna write about this at some point, but now that you've said it, it's triggered a memory. There used to be a point of time around when I was a law student, or even after I became a lawyer, where I used to think, I wish I hadn't gotten good grades at school. I know this is a weird thing to say, but I said, I wish I hadn't gotten good grades at school and gotten into a good university and everything, because then I could have done something creative. I could have become a DJ, or I could have become, a shop owner, or I don't know, something different to an academic type career. Because I think, and this is something, I speak at law schools around the world, and a lot of law students, they obviously have gotten very good grades to get into law school. And so all of us, I think we're all a bit overachievers. We all, have worked very hard to get to where we are. And so we want to make the most of our degree, right? You can't do a law degree, or you can't do, a degree from a great school and then go off and waste it or do something else. Especially with parents and with, log kya kahenge, or, what will the community say, that kind of mentality, right? So, yeah, I think a law degree shouldn't restrict you from doing what you want to do. Okay. It should. And I think this is something I say as well. A law degree doesn't really teach you the law per se. Like, yes, it does. I mean, you read cases and you go to classes and everything. But actually, the main takeaway or the main thing it gives you is a way of thinking. It's a way of dealing with issues. It's a way of problem solving. And that's something that is very unique to lawyers versus non-lawyers. Like, if you put a lawyer and non-lawyer in a room and you give them a problem or some sort of conflict of interest or some sort of ethical issue that they have to deal with, both people will most likely think in very different ways. They may come to the same conclusion, but the lawyer will probably think in a certain logical way or how they've been taught, whereas a non-lawyer may think a more commercial or more business-minded way. And so I think a law degree arms you with that knowledge, with that background, with that sort of ammunition that you can take into pretty much any career you want to go into. So that's something that I think, people shouldn't forget.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I think maybe someone will get a new perspective, and if they want to switch their career, they can do that after listening to us. So Rohan, now tell us something about Law Ninjas. How did you come up with it, and what was the thought process behind starting it?
Um, yeah, so Law Ninjas was set up by me in 2017, which is exactly the same time as I moved to becoming an in-house lawyer. So I used to be a law firm lawyer or private practice lawyer, and I was at Mayor Brown working with Nathan, my old boss from Linklaters. And in 2017, excuse me, I moved into KFC, which is the world of fried chicken and fast food. And so when you become an in-house lawyer, as a law firm lawyer, you're meant to be a specialist, right? You're meant to know corporate law or capital markets law. And I was kind of the finance guy. So I knew project finance to a certain extent. But then when you go into an in-house role at a company like KFC, you're meant to know kind of a little bit of most things, right? Because anybody could come up to you, your marketing team come up to you and say, hey, look at this ad or look at this Instagram post, tell me if it's okay. Or your sales team can come to you and say, oh, look at this agreement, is it okay? So you need to know kind of a bit of everything really. And I had no clue about anything when I went into that role. Don't tell them I said that. And so I set up a small WhatsApp group with about 10 or 15 lawyers I knew who were in-house lawyers. And they were, in Singapore and India and Australia and elsewhere. And it was a way for me to be able to ask them questions about, tax law and labor law and all these things I had no clue about. The idea just kind of caught fire, if I can call it that. I think everybody in the group liked the idea of just being able to bounce things off each other, questions, and even job opportunities we were sharing with each other. And then it kind of grew from there. So, I added more people, they added their friends, and it kind of grew and grew. So now it's, a few 10 people we started off with, I guess. It's now a platform for a few thousand lawyers and law students around the world. We've got in-house lawyers, private practice lawyers, law students, law professors. We conduct webinars, workshops, courses. We've got a website. We're working on something new that's exciting and you'll hear about in a few weeks' time. And we've got, I've spoken at, as I said, 45 law schools around the world on topics such as, international careers, what it's like to be an in-house lawyer, what it's like to be a private practice lawyer at a Magic Circle law firm, at a US firm. I talk about CV writing, I talk about cover letter writing, I talk about leadership, relationship building, networking. So pretty much everything that you need to know in order to be a lawyer, but you don't really get taught at law school. And so that's what kind of Law Ninjas is trying to do, is trying to fill the gap as to what a lawyer needs to know, but doesn't get taught or doesn't get, told either at law school or after that. So it's been exciting and it's kept me busy. But I think it's a great sort of outlet for me as well, because I have ideas. I have, I like to think I'm quite creative. So it's a great way for me to kind of get that out there. Because, in a legal job, you're not really allowed to be too creative, right? You can't do too many weird things. But with me, I don't know if you follow, but on Instagram and LinkedIn, we do a lot of memes. We do a lot of, cool, funky graphics and ideas. We are, collaborating with the different companies, different, providers. And so that's something that's kind of keeping me going, and it's quite exciting. One thing, and this is something that I think is exclusive to your show today, is I'm going to be announcing an internship program very, very soon. So that's something that I think will be quite exciting for law students and junior lawyers around the world. And yeah, so lots of things going on, and hopefully 2022 will be a good year for everyone in the community.
Awesome, awesome. Just I love this idea, going beyond law and learning skills, because for me, like I think as a law firm owner, my day to day activity, I don't think the problem is how to apply law, what we probably study in our law college. The most things what we have to deal with it on a daily basis is how to manage finances, how to speak to people, how to maintain client relationships, how to interact with clients, how to make interns or associates work, or how to make them focus on a particular task and get the work done. So I think it's mostly about people management, elements of finances and things like that. Like you said, leadership. But I think all these aspects are missing from our traditional education, and good job that you are doing.
No, thank you. And you just gave me lots of ideas of webinars I could conduct. I think there is a gap. There is a gap between what you learn and what you have to do. And then I think also in law firms, that sort of gap becomes very apparent whenever a lawyer goes from being a fee earner or like an associate, a senior associate, to becoming a partner. That jump or that transition is always very difficult for people, or usually very difficult for people who haven't done the business development too much, or who haven't thought about it from the business or financial side of things before. And that's something that law firms, I think, need to do a better job at, is training their lawyers at going, look, your partnership material, we want you to know what it's like to be a partner. Here are the balance sheet, here's the profit and loss statement, understand the stuff. And then also start not advertising, but start promoting the firm at events, start speaking at events, start going to speak to clients. You need to kind of make that transition a bit easier for lawyers, because just getting made partner one day and then saying, okay, here's all this new stuff you've never done before, plus on top of the actual work you have to do, it's a lot. And so it's I think it's important to fill that gap.
Correct. So, Rohan, I'll also share. I know it's your podcast, but the story just came into my mind, so I would like to share it. So, when I was, transitioning from being a person who used to work at a law firm and to a person who wanted to start my own law firm, so there was a gap. And in other law firms, what, like now that I interact with many partners and things like that, what I came to know is, till they are at a position of a senior associate or a principal associate, till that position they are never given an opportunity to speak in public forums and things like that. The moment they become partner, they are expected that they'll be good at sharing the stage with bigger people, doing a good job in speaking, addressing colleges, addressing probably startup environments or business environments. So and mostly they are at the age of probably 45 to 50, or somewhere around 40 to 45 when they reach the position of a partner. And at that stage, telling someone that you have to switch over to a completely new thing that you haven't done before, it's difficult for them also to adapt. And then they feel like, how come junior people, they can come and transact into our boundaries and can be better than us. But it's not about doing, it's like they have also started their journey at that time, and we have also started the journey at that time only, and probably experience in terms of public speaking is the same. So I was just saying, the expectation in itself is wrong, that you just go on the stage for the first time and everybody would be happy with you. It's a process, it's a learning curve. We may start at 25, or we may start that learning curve at 45.
Yeah, I think you hit a good point. And also, I think just coming back to your earlier point where you said that, when you become a partner at a law firm, you're meant to start speaking at these things. But as a non-partner, you're not allowed to, or you're not given that opportunity. So that's actually something that gave rise to my sort of initiative to do these webinars. So I host webinars, that are live, that are free for anyone to attend. That are usually 45 minutes to 1 hour long. We've done webinars with, leading sort of the general counsel of PepsiCo globally. We've done with law firm associates. We've done with, students. We've done with everyone. And so one of the ideas behind it was actually that I used to see, and I still see, that all these conferences, all these webinars that are usually done are with the founding partner of XYZ law firm or senior partner of this firm. And the associates, the mid-level people in in-house roles, they never get an opportunity to speak. They never get an opportunity to share their ideas. And they have amazing insights. They have amazing thoughts and views that should be shared. And so I try and spread the speaker list across different seniorities as well. So, and I think, some of the best sessions I've done haven't been with the general counsels of big companies. They've been with, the manager of a legal team of a small company, but he or she has done some really great things or has some really great stories to share or has been through some really challenging times. And, those are great stories as well to hear, right? Not everything is going to be perfect and amazing and, so I think we should give everyone an opportunity to speak and to share their thoughts because, yeah, I mean, I like to think that, what Law Ninjas is doing is leveling the playing field between, a GC at a big company and a, manager of a small company in India or Africa or somewhere like that. And also between students. So, it doesn't matter if you've been to Harvard or it doesn't matter if you've been to some other school, you should have the same access to speakers, to knowledge, to know-how, to articles, to podcasts, to whatever, resources are out there. And so that's what, I'm trying to do.
Awesome, awesome. Just loved your initiative. So, Rohan, to conclude, can you share some key takeaways for young legal entrepreneurs and what should they take care and probably what skills are important for them to learn?
Yeah, I think I kind of mentioned it earlier where you need enthusiasm. You need this sort of drive to be able to do something, right? If you go into work or if you go into your classroom or if you go into a new job where you're just kind of doing it for the salary at the end of the month, or you're just doing it because you see it as a big name on your CV, or you're doing it because you have to, because everybody has a job and this is what life expects of us, then yes, you'll get to a certain point in your career ladder or career goals, but you won't go past that. I think smarts, intelligence, grades, medals, certificates, they'll get you so far, but the real successful people, the really not only successful people, the really content and happy professionals are the ones who, yes, who have obviously a certain degree of intelligence and achievements, but who also have that kind of passion or desire to learn, who have a growth mindset, like I mentioned earlier, and who want to be better and do something with their career and their life. So I think that enthusiasm, that passion, that desire to do something is key. That's the first thing. The second thing is obviously hard work. I think that's a given, but you got to, unfortunately, nothing comes easy. People, sometimes they ask me, they're like, oh, you've worked here, you've worked there, you're so lucky, or, you've, managed to work in these places and these firms. And I said, yeah, okay. I mean, a certain degree, I'm sure, was luck in being at the right place at the right time or sending the right email or message or whatever. But I've worked pretty hard. I'm not saying I've worked harder than other people. There are a lot of lawyers I know who work double as hard as I do, but still, I mean, it didn't come all easy to me, or it's not all like a bed of roses. It's hard work. Law Ninjas as well. I haven't just set up a WhatsApp group and it's just kind of grown into what it is today by itself. It's been a lot of late nights. I have to do webinars at 11 p.m. midnight my time in Sydney because I'm at a time zone that's far ahead of everybody else, and I do it at that time not because the speakers say please do it at that time. It's because I want everyone in the world to be able to attend it live if they want to.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of hard work, but I love it. And when you speak to me about law ninjas, and even my family, when they say, whenever we talk to you about like life or work, you're kind of normal. But whenever you talk about law ninjas, then your eyes light up. It's like, there's something, this is my baby, this is something I'm passionate about. Similarly, if you talk to me about KFC or fried chicken or fast food, my eyes light up. So, I have a couple of passions in life. And so what you need to do, I think, if I have to give key takeaways or advice, is be enthusiastic about something, find your passion, what it is that kind of gets you excited, gets you out of bed in the morning, and then hopefully try and find a career, or find some time in your life to do that. They say follow your passion or make your career your passion. I mean, that's in an ideal world. Yes, maybe, that would be great. But even if you can't do that, like if you like scuba diving, that doesn't mean you need to become a scuba diving instructor. It just means that you need to spend a lot more time of your free time or your holidays doing that thing, because that's what makes you happy, or that's what makes you feel like you're, achieving things. So spend time doing the things you love, be enthusiastic and passionate about them, and work hard at them, and have the right attitude as well. You see a lot of lawyers, you see a lot of professionals that are, yes, went to the best law schools, got the best grades, may be enthusiastic about, doing work, but they may not have the right attitude. They may not, they may say, oh yeah, I don't want to do that work, or no, I don't want to, do that. It's below me, or I don't want to do proofreading. A lawyer shouldn't be doing proofreading. That's a job for an assistant or paralegal or whatever it is, right? So you have to have the right attitude, and it has to be a positive one, and encouraging one. So yeah, a lot of things to sort of think of and take into account. But at the end of the day, it's these intangibles, it's these qualities that bosses, that HR teams, that law firm partners are actually looking for. And yes, it's obviously difficult to display all these qualities in an interview or in a sort of a written test that you have to do, but it's the people who get into a job and display these qualities. Those are the people who kind of go far and get asked to do new projects and get told, okay, we've got a new assignment or a new opportunity for you in our Tokyo office or in our Dubai office. We'd love to send you. Those are the sorts of doors that will open for you if you can show all these, intangible qualities.
Awesome. So just to sum up, do hard work, have the right attitude, have enthusiasm, and try to follow your passion as much as you can. Find time to do whatever makes you happy. So thank you so much, Rohan, for being on the show, and thank you so much for sharing the insights.
No, thank you so much, Priggya. And I think just to round it off, the one thing that you shouldn't forget is, if it's possible, you should also have fun doing whatever you're doing, right? Now, look at you. You're doing this kind of video series. You're doing it because I think you enjoy it. I think you actually, you're having fun doing it, and you can see it. And that's something that is key to success in any part of your life, whether it's sports, whether it's your work, whether it's anything. And so you should always try and come at it with, hey, this is something I'm doing. I can either do it with this kind of, like I said, fixed negative mindset, or I can do it with a positive mindset. What's the worst that can happen? It won't go well. It'll be a failure. I'll, look, embarrassed in front of someone. But who cares? You got to stop thinking about what other people think and what other people want you to do, and do what you want to do. And if you succeed, amazing, right? If you fail, then you're going to learn from it, and you will either, go and do something better or do something different, or you might say, okay, this wasn't for me. I will find a new path now. But at least you've tried it. At least you're not going to say, what if? You're not going to look back and say, oh, I regret that, or I should. You regret the things you didn't do more than the things you did do. So do things, follow your heart, live with, courage. Don't let your pride, don't let your fear hold you back. And that's what's going to make all the difference.
Absolutely. So, to if I could sum up in one word, I'll say just start. Start with whatever you want to start, and just start and see where it goes. You might fail, like Rohan just said, you might fail, but then you'll come up with something better. So just
Yeah,
start with whatever you want to start. So,
exactly. Just be a ninja. If I can throw a, product placement in there, just be a ninja in whatever you do. Do it with passion, do it with, hard work, and you will be very surprised as to the things you can achieve if you really put your mind to something.
awesome, awesome. Yes, thank you so much, Rohan, for all the insight. I'm sure the audience is going to love it because I loved our conversation so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Hey there. Thank you for attending today's session. If you enjoyed our conversation, do follow our channel and consider sharing it with a friend. My name is Priggya Arora, daughter of inspiring parents, alumna of IIT Kharagpur, engineer turned lawyer and entrepreneur, and now founder of PA Legal, where we help creators and innovators protect their intellectual property. Thank you.